Alright, I'll try to make a how to install one of these BMS-Batteries Lishen kits. Please excuse the propped up phone. Nobody to hold the phone for me, so this is the best angle I can get. I think it's aiming at the right direction. Yeah, looks about right. In the kit, you're going to get everything you need, or everything that I'm going to show you here, excluding tools. You're going to want to get yourself a nice set, or a functioning set of wire cutter strippers, crimpers. A lot of times you get that all in one tool if you like, or if you can find them. A 10mm socket. Torque wrench is suggested. You can use your own judgment on that if you choose to trust your hand for torque specs. That's on you. And everything else it comes with. It's going to come with the bars, the nuts, the cells, the spacers, the case, the balance board, the plug that goes to the balance board, an LF audio voltage meter with the plug that goes with it. Another thing you're going to want to get is a couple short strands of wire. Let's call them 14 inches long. Technically, just your positive is going to need to be that long. Your negative can be substantially shorter. Oh, and another thing that might be helpful is some double-sided adhesive sticky tape. I use stuff from Weimar that's called Alien, but there's several other brands that are very similar. Any sort of double-sided sticky will work. I choose to use that style. Works good for me. The first thing I want to point out is do not trust that every cap is on the negative. A lot of times they are. It's not always the case. I've opened, I don't know, 30 cases this week, and some of them have the cap on the positive and some have the cap on the negative. The one thing you can bank on is if you look real close. I hope I'm holding this in front of the camera the right way. If you look really close, there's a little positive on that stud and a little negative on that one. That is the truth. So, I suggest you install these with the positive on the side of the case that's labeled positive. I'm planning to make them all like this. If not, just put them all on the one side. So then, again, don't bank on whatever that's on. Go by what it actually shows on the top of the stud. So I'm going to put all positives to the side here, and you're going to want to go cell and then provided spacer, cell, provided spacer, cell. And what I like to do on the last one is put the cell in first and then wedge the spacer in between the two cells, making it fairly tight in this wood containment case. These are like all prismatic square cells, some sort of containment required. These are just a wood containment case. You don't need L iron or big bolts, or just a wood containment case is all that's required. And then repeat. I started with positive on my left hand side, and I put all the negatives on my right hand side. So the very next row I'm going to do the same redundant thing. Positive on my left hand side, provided spacer, positive on my left hand side, provided spacer, positive on my left hand side. And then on my last cell, I like to put it in and then wedge the provided spacer in between, making the cells rather tight in the wood containment case. Repeat over and over until you have 4 rows of the same thing done. Okay, now triple check, this is important, that all of your positives and all of your negative studs are exactly where you want them. This is important. If you have one cell in there turned and not correct, when you put the bus bar in there, you're going to have issues. So double check all your positives are lined up. So it's going to go positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Now, start opening your packages. These all had plastic sleeves on them. I took them all off prior to the video. Start opening your packages and take the first bus bar and lay it over your 4 positives. In this case, it's 4. Inside the case or inside the kit, you're going to get a bag that has a bunch of nuts in it. I have a 10 millimeter socket that I took and put a little neo magnet in the bottom of it and hot glued it in there. I built a lot of banks. You don't need to do that. I also put on my drill on the clutch well below 1 Nm torque specs. So I can just grab one, slap it on my nut driver that has a magnet in there and get it started. This is well below torque specs. And no matter how much I throttle that, the clutch is set at number 1, the easiest to slip and not strip. If you do not have a clutch setup drill, I kind of suggest you don't do it like that. Just do it by hand. These M6 are pretty robust. You can torque spec them easily up to 5 or 6 Nm, which is a lot. It's super tight. Doesn't need to be that tight. I'll kind of show you what I mean as far as, I mean, you can easily get away with like 2 or 3 Nm, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be tighter than that. I personally torque spec all the banks that I build and send out at 4. It's a little overkill, but not quite. And I just do it because I'm just obsessive compulsive, and I go after the drill. I 4 Nm them in preparation for packaging. And anyways, you're just going to repeat putting the bars connecting each group of cells after you've checked that everyone's positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. These, it doesn't matter which way you put them. If you're into the cosmetic appealing and you want all your gyms, Machine Works logos in one direction, now's the time to take that into consideration. If you don't care which way they go and you just want it to function, then just slap them on there. I did have a gentleman that I was trying to steer in the right direction as assemble one of these, and he actually did it twice, so I'm just going to bring it up. It's important that you don't put these across a single cell like this. If you lay this across here, that's going to direct short it. What we're doing is connecting 2 cells together in the case. Only half of this bar goes on there, and I'm not sure what he was. Mistakes happen, but anyway, I'm just bringing it up. This bar is meant to connect 2 cells together, not to go on the top of one cell. You will get a large spark and directly short it if you do that. If you do happen to mistakenly do that, it's not the end of the world. Just get it off of there, and then move on and connect two cells together, not the same cell. Short it out. Anyway, I just brought it up for. Once you finish doing every one of those, I'll come back here in a second. Once you have finished getting all the bars on and got the nuts just started, I like to go next and set my torque wrench at 4 Nm. I'll just go along and torque every one until it clicks at 4. One thing that you might want to be mindful of is the gap in between these bus bars has a lot of current. Meaning if I drop a bolt, a nut, a wrench, a socket, anything metal in between there, it is going to arc, short, spark. The best thing to do is just get it out of there as quickly as possible, and that if you accidentally drop something down in here, get it out. It's not the end of the world. I've got a couple safety videos that I've made. You can direct short these and LTO and anything I sell that you can direct short it. The cell's not gonna explode or anything. I mean, your wire is gonna be the most dangerous thing if you direct short it. So I mean, if I do just drop this in here, it's not gonna blow up. Just get the thing out. Anyway, once I've torqued all of those down to 4, now take your provided plug that came with the kit. I like to shorten the wires to where they don't have excess laying around everywhere. You can leave them long if you'd like. They need to go in this exact order, and this is one of the most common mistakes here. Is one of the most highly returned items on Amazon because somebody hooked it up wrong is balance boards. It will smoke this thing and destroy it if the pinout is not correct. If you do not have the wires exactly as I'm explaining they need to be, it will permanently damage this board and you'll have to order a replacement. On the positive side, you will start with the first wire, the red one. I've already crimped the ends on that are provided with the kit. You will have to do that yourself. You'll have to strip a little bit of wire, crimp the end on. The ends are provided, so is the wire. You just need a set of wire cutters, crimpers. Start with the number 1 pin that's red and put it on the positive bus bar, the one on the very left. I've already equipped my drill with the correct Allen. The very next wire, the number 2, the yellow, will go to the very next bus bar. I'm going to call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Starting with the positive and going in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same with the wires. Red is 1, yellow is 2. It's going to go to the very next bar, number 2 bar. White is 3. In the middle of the plug, 3. We'll go to 1, 2, 3 on the bars. Green is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th wire in the plug, green, going to the 4th bus bar. And 5, the black. 5th wire in the plug will go to the 5th bus bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th bus bar, black. Now I'm going to torque that. You don't need to, just a suggestion. I have that drill set at about 1 Nm. I'm going to torque these to 4. You don't have to. You can just hand snug it if you choose. A lot of people do. Okay, here's where I mentioned you're going to have to supply your own double-sided sticky tape. I take a piece and put it on the back of the balance board. This is a non-conductive double-sided sticky tape, and there's no parts on the back of the board that are able to short out. I take it and put it on the center bus bar because that's how much wire I've already trimmed off of these to allow this plug to reach it. Now is when you plug it in. After everything's in and you've already torqued down everything, you've already installed this and triple checked that your wires are in the correct position. Red 1, yellow 2, white 3, green 4, and black 5. If they're not in that order and you plug this in, you will damage this board, smoke, and sparks will come off of this board. Now that it's plugged in, you're done with the balance board section. Okay, now in the kit is a provided loose piece of wood. Oh, I didn't mention that. You're going to need a little bit of wood glue. The reason I don't install this first is so it gives you enough wiggle room to get all your cells and stuff in there. The 2 outside boards, the whole case is completely assembled, ready for you to do everything that we've already explained in the video so far. Now take this piece and add yourself a little bit of wood glue down the 3 sides of it. The bottom, I'm going to call it the bottom and 2 sides. Make sure your bus or your bank is all the way against the left side where the positive is, and slide this piece of wood in there nice and tight against the negative side, holding the bank all the way to one side. Now if you just let that wood glue dry and don't throw this across the room, it's going to hold it very well. I'm going to choose to brad nail it. You don't have to. If you just allow that to dry, the piece is cut perfectly enough to where it won't ever move if you let it dry right there. I'm going to brad nail mine so I can move it around without waiting for a few hours for it to dry. If you choose to brad nail yours, be very careful that you hit the wood and not the cell next to it. The way you can always tell if you did hit the cell is you can still pick the bank up. It's in there snug but not super compressed tight. It's a wood containment case, not compression. Anyway, if you can still slide it up and down, that's one of my tests that I like to do. I know I didn't hit the cell, but obsessive compulsive, I wanted to triple check. Sure enough, hit the wood. The next step is you are going to open your LF audio high precision voltage meter. Inside there you will get a voltmeter and a plug. On the plug there's a 12, a remote, and a ground, and a measure. We're not going to use the measure today. You can look on the LF website if you'd like to see what the measure does. That's for testing more than 1 voltage. We're just going to be monitoring 1 voltage. If you'd like to go into more details about that, please visit the LF Audio website. Anyway, to use it in this bank as intended, you will need to take either a jumper wire and go from the 12 to the remote, and then have yourself a length of wire for the positive, and then one to the ground. I've already attached some eyelets on these, and that's going to make this permanently on. If you would like to add a switch to that, you can. Right where that jumper is, just right where that red jumper is, just put a switch right there. if you'd like to turn it on and off. There is, oh, I can't remember, the owner of LF Audio and I were talking a few weeks ago, and I think, if I remember correctly, there's like 2 millivolts of a draw this running, so you can literally leave this running for months. It won't kill your bank, especially if you're going to start your car every week. I have attached, prior to this video, a couple pieces of clear sticky tape on the sides of this. You can screw it through there if you'd like. I'm going to put some clear sticky tape on this one, just for this video. I have already notched out inside of this case to miss this plug. I had sent one of these out to a gentleman that wanted it prior to me actually fully releasing them. That one did not get the notch out here because I didn't realize till this morning that it needed it, because this plug wasn't in the voltmeter when I got it. I just slid it in. It worked great. Forgot to take into consideration that the plug needs to go there. So to that one gentleman, you'll need to notch out the wood a little bit here to miss that plug to get this to sit fully in there flush. Everybody else, it's going to already be notched out. Once you pull the two-sided sticky tape off or choose to screw it in, that's up to you. Slide this through the hole that's CNC cut for to fit perfectly. Let's see if I can. It'll slide through, and I'm going to double-side sticky it into there. So now it's fully in the provided hole. I've already attached a long positive and long negative to the voltmeter. So now I'm going to attach it to the two screws here. Oh, while you're doing this, if you're going to use the same exact bolt that's on the balance board, unplug it first. If you're going to pull one wire off of this to use that same bolt like I'm about to, unplug it first. You can use a completely separate bolt if you would like. There is another hole there on the bus bars. I'm just going to use the same one. I almost crimped these two wires together, but just to keep it less confusing during the last section of the video, I did not crimp these both into the same eyelet. You can, but just to simplify it. Now this is the positive wire going from the voltage meter to the positive bus bar. Also, the positive to the balance board is sharing the same bolt. Back to 4NM, click. Still unplugged over here. I'm going to remove the negative. Add in the negative eyelet from the voltage meter. Reattach. Same bolt to the same exact hole. 4NM. Click. Now that you've had both of the positive and negative out and reattached with adding in the voltage meter, now you can reattach your balance board wire. The jumper that I showed you earlier between the remote and the positive makes it so the voltmeter immediately turns on and will stay on. These cells are straight out of the box. I haven't done anything to them. They're resting at a combined 12.65 volts. Now that you've got to this stage, you're just about done. You can go to the LF Audio website and download the app, and or take a picture of the provided barcodes on here. I've already downloaded the app into this phone. I don't remember if I should have
Hold on.